Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Hey, look at the kilt I'm wearing today. It's bright. It's one of the biggest, brashest, most famous of tartans, and yet I don't very often wear it. It is the Royal Stuart. Oh yes. Oh, hey, the Royal Stuart. I like it. Oh, I really do, as Lorraine Kelly would say. Oh, I really do. It really does, doesn't it? It really is, isn't it? Oh, it really is. Lorraine, have something to say. Have an opinion. Don't just say, it's extraordinary. It really is, isn't it? It really is. That's all she does on her talk show. Anyway, folks, we've discussed the best and worst movies of 2022. And I'm going to do the obvious thing now and discuss our most anticipated movies of 2023. And I haven't done any kind of a list in any release date order or a top 10. In fact, there's probably about 16 or 17 titles on this, things that I'm looking forward to. And there's a few little movies there which I've shunted to one side because they're things I'm not looking forward to. Oh no, nor should you. Nah, it's all subjective, isn't it? Lists. The thing about lists and this sort of thing is that everyone on YouTube does them. I do them, and it gives you, if nothing else, just a reason to talk about movies and to have a bit of a laugh and a giggle. That's really all it is. Because who can say if these films are going to be any good? Not I. All I can say is I've seen the trailer for them, or I like the idea of them. There's something about them which, oh yes, I wouldn't mind seeing that. And then once I've seen it, I'll be straight on here going, what a load of shite that was. Once again, I've been looking forward to a film and it's let me down big time. How many times? Oh, how many times have we been through that? Travesty. Anyway, musically, we're playing in the background the Last of The Mohicans soundtrack from Trevor Jones. This is the Trevor Jones score, not the Randy Edelman stuff, which I do like, but I prefer just to listen to the Trevor Jones action, mythical stuff. So, that's playing in the background for no other reason than I like it. Nay, love it. So, let's wet the whistle and then dive in. Because there's quite a few titles here. And nowhere near enough whiskey. A diabolical turn of events that's turned out to be. Right, okay. First one. Cocaine Bear. Yeah, it's a mad one, isn't it? It's gonzo. That's my new favourite word at the moment, gonzo. And I don't mean that weird thing off the Muppets. I don't mean him at all, but just madcap, zany, anarchic weirdness. Cocaine Bear is a horror comedy about a grizzly bear that chows down on a dropped package of cocaine and then goes on a completely blitzed high rampage, killing lots of people. Now, it's based on a true story. Yes, it is. Where a bear, wasn't a grizzly, I think it was a black bear, that a plane carrying drugs dropped a package of drugs, and the black bear saunters on down, nibble, nibble, munch, munch. Hey man, you know. And he gets high. But I don't think he killed anyone. I think he just went crazy and sadly ended up dying as well. But this is a horror comedy action adventure romp gonzo based on that. So yeah, and it does look good from the trailer. Okay, an obvious one. John Wick Chapter 4. Keanu Reeves as John Wick, the assassin's assassin, the hitman of the gods. The first 3 chapters are excellent. They are just an excuse for outrageous stunts and action aplenty. Gun fu, car chases, stunts, leaping off buildings, just incredible. Lots of fisticuffs and everything like that. And like double taps. He might take down anyone he takes down, be it in a club, a cathedral, the street, a Moroccan hotel, wherever it happens to be. Bang, bang, puts him down, and then another in the head. He won't forget about someone who's writhing in agony like several yards behind him. he'll go back and put another bullet in their head just to make sure. I love these movies. Chad Stahelski, the director, it's just an excuse for outrageous action set piece after set piece. And if handled well, even bereft of real story. I mean, let's be honest, the story's a bit daft, isn't it? It's almost like every single person in the world actually is an assassin and a hitman and can be called forth for a job, usually to go and hunt down John Wick. But you can't hunt down John Wick because he's going to hunt you down instead and take you out. He lost a finger in the last one, but he's back. He's back for vengeance. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I've loved all the John Wick movies so far, and they've actually got better as they've gone on. Just more outrageous stunts and set piece excitement. Relentless. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to dip into the land of, possibly gonzo horror comedy with Renfield. Renfield, you say? Who's Renfield? He's the fly-eating manservant to the Dark Lord himself, Count Dracula. And this interpretation, this is a Dracula story told from Renfield's point of view. And I think the idea is that Renfield, played by Nicholas Hoult, wants to, he kind of likes the idea of, what if I didn't have to work for this guy? Couldn't I have a life of my own? I don't know where it goes with that. I have no idea. But what I do know is that you've got another Nick in this movie. Nicolas Cage. Nick Cage himself playing Count Dracula. Now, Nick Cage has got some prior affinity with vampirism. He was in some really crap, was it early 90s horror, Vampire's Kiss. Ain't much good. And now he's playing the Lord of the Undead himself. And if you've seen the imagery of him, with his smoking jacket on, his velvet smoking jacket, and a fair bit of makeup applied, his hair slicked back, it's Bela Lugosi on acid. And, well, I don't know. I like Nick Cage, though. I have a great time watching Nick Cage movies. And, he's out there. He's massively out there. My chest looks like a bum. Look at that. I've got a chest bum. Let's let it go. Let it go. Dear Lord, I am mutating before your very eyes. Okay, but I'm looking forward to that. I mean, if nothing else, it could be a laugh. So, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yeah, it's not a good title. And I've talked about this a fair bit already. I love Harrison Ford. I love Indiana Jones. I don't love Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I thought it was utter pants. And yet, I still liked seeing Indiana Jones again. And if they can reset what they did with that one, and you've not got Spielberg directing it, you've not got Lucas writing it, but they're producing it. So hopefully someone else can bring a whole new dimensionality to it. The action and the set piece spectacle and the location hopping that we loved from the previous movies. Come on! I think the trailer looks great. I know it's cat amongst the pigeons. People are like, oh, they've de-aged him really badly, it's that obvious. Oh, that's obviously a stuntman with this Harrison Ford's face on. Oh, the CGI is just everywhere. Folks, you know me. If it is diabolical, I will vehemently tell you so. But I've looked at that trailer a few times, and I'm kind of excited. So please be good. Be good this time. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Part 1. We're going to get another part. Little Tom Cruise. His longevity is incredible. He's only little, but his longevity is huge. Maverick took a couple of years, if not 3 years, to finally hit the screens and then take over the world, apparently, because I still haven't seen it. I've explained why. But I love Tom Cruise and I love the Mission Impossible movies. So we're going to straddle a couple of years with this ongoing saga. Ethan Hunt and the Mission Impossible team. And the most outrageous stunts. A lot of stunts. Stunts heavy so far, isn't it, this? But my God. I mean, the biggest stunts ever, apparently, ever, where he rides on the bike off the mountainside. Bike goes down, he goes down, and like free falls. And like, we don't know how this ends up, obviously, but or even the context of why this takes place in the movie. But my God, it looks great. And in Tom Cruise, you know you're gonna get incredible top-notch action, and in really death-defying stunts that he's actually doing for real, in real life, in reality. You could die. So yeah, Dead Reckoning. Looking forward to it. Here's a film that conceptually I thought, why would anyone want to watch this? It's Christopher Nolan's new movie with Cillian Murphy. It is Oppenheimer. Who? Oppenheimer. Yeah, the Manhattan Project. The man that created the atomic bomb that took Japan out of World War II. And it's about the evolution and the study and the progression of creating that bomb, testing it, the theories, the disasters beforehand in the desert, and then finally creating it and unleashing it. And he becomes Dr. Death himself, the destroyer of worlds. The trailer is amazing. Again, it's not subject matter that I'm particularly interested in, but I do like Christopher Nolan's style. It grates sometimes. Like initially I didn't like Dunkirk, and then I grew to love Dunkirk. Initially I didn't like Interstellar, and now I love Interstellar. I still don't like Inception, by the way. I still don't. And what's that other one? Is it Tenet? Nah. But the Dark Knight trilogy, awesomeness. And I do like his style. I love his use of music in movies as well. And I love Cillian Murphy. So this could be fantastic. The story that nobody really wants, especially if you're Japanese. You don't want to see this story, do you? It's not going to go down well in Japan, is it? You know? I wouldn't have thought. But it looks visually very impressive. And it's going to... Even my son, who has absolutely no interest in World War II or anything like that, unless it's like a, what's it, Call of Arms, Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, and all them war gaming video games. Unless there's a Second World War slant to one of them, he's got no interest in World War II, or in great big bombs, or great big bums. Look at that big chesty bum there. Maybe I should see a doctor about that. But anyway, but he's massively enthusiastic for it. He loves Christopher Nolan stuff though, so that could be the reason behind it. And I think he likes Cillian Murphy. So yeah, he was the one that brought it to my attention. I was like, oh, Oppenheimer, who's interested in that? He went, no, look at the trailer. And I did, and I thought, oh my God, well, that's got me hooked already. Thing is, I think we know how it ends. Okay, Dune Part 2, or Dune, depending on where you're from. Timothée Chalamet, and I liked the first Dune Part 1, Book 1, whatever they termed it as. And that's my boot squeaking on the floor there. So I can't take my eyes off my chest bum. Oh, I don't know, I might have to zip this up, because that's obscene. Look like a workman, with his worky cargo pants hanging halfway down his arse cheeks. And you're going past the building site, and like, oh. And those bastards wolf whistle me, because I'm the guy with the long hair. I'm the thing with the long hair and the short tartan skirt. And if they see us from behind, oh yeah, I get wolf whistled. Yeah. But I love it. I was going with that. Denis Villeneuve, great visionary director, fabulous effects, huge, large scale to it. Great, it's a great, big movie. Lots of expanse, and it worked. And there's a hell of a lot more story to tell. So obviously we're getting part 2. We all know that we weren't necessarily going to get a part 2 because it all hinged on how successful the first one was going to be. Did people embrace it? It's a very big, unwieldy story, and not everyone's into it. Frank Herbert's immense Dune saga, And of course, people still love David Lynch's version, albeit a broken vision of what interpretation of that novel. I still like David Lynch's version. I think it's visually superb, and I love the Toto's score. Love the got Sting in there as well. I like it a lot. But this Villeneuve's version takes it a bit more seriously and does it right. So and it appropriately has a much broader scope. We can't tell the full story in 2 hours, 3 hours, even 4 hours. But I make it 6 to 9 hours then, you know. So we'll have another part coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. In the next one, Timothée Chalamet appears again. It's Wonka. Yeah, Wonka, the prequel. I ordinarily wouldn't bother with this sort of thing. I liked, what was it? Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Was that the previous one? The Tim Burton one with Johnny Depp. Now this is telling how Wonka became Wonka. But did that version not also do that? Didn't we have a huge flashback where he meets the Oompa Loompas and all that? And his humble beginnings was sort of essayed in the movie somewhere. But now we're going to get a full version. Because this is the era. You know, everything has to have, you can't have one story alone. You've got to sequelize it. You've got to sidewalize it. You've got to give prequels and stuff. And then sequels on a tangent to the prequels. And then reinterpretations and reboots. That's it. There's no original stories anymore. They just don't happen. No, you don't get them. Not allowed. Only things we've had before, just with a slight new slant on it, or just new actors in there. That said, I think it looks quite quirky and bizarre and gonzo, and I like Timothée Chalamet. I think this could actually be quite interesting. I hope so. It's not Tim Burton though, is it? Who's doing this? So it could have a different kind of quirkiness, but we shall see. I'm not against the idea, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it. So there we go. It's on this list. Oh well. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Now, Amber Heard. Have you heard about Amber Heard? We've all heard about Amber Heard. I really, really enjoyed the first Aquaman. I totally didn't expect to. I thought he was a ludicrous character in the comics and the cartoons, and never, riding a giant seahorse. What? With his fishy pants on? No. But with my man Momoa essaying the role, I really enjoyed it. Great cast was in it as well. Loads of set pieces. Great score. I pretty much loved everything about it. I remember reviewing it on this very channel and even loving Amber Heard. Because I did. Because she had a nutcase back then, was she? Or was she? I don't know. But I liked her. And now this version. Have they written her out now? Because that was the last thing I heard. They were shortening all her scenes to the point where she's almost completely eradicated from the story. So I don't know. But Momoa can do action. Momoa looks good as Aquaman, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Still being water based, The Meg 2. I enjoyed The Meg. It was family friendly. It needed more carnage. If you go back to the books, the original books that it's based on, there's a lot more carnage in it. It takes out friggin' submarines and stuff like that. And in the first Meg, I love Statham as well. I'm a massive fan of Jason Statham, so I'm up for that. But you had a great sequence where a helicopter should have been strafing, the water, and the Meg's under there. And the Meg should have took that helicopter down. Great whites come out the water. It could have, and it's only hovering just above. Why did he miss that scene out? That would have been perfect. Would have sealed the deal. But no, he doesn't even chomp that many people. But it's still surprisingly exciting. And I love shark movies, especially big shark movies. And The Meg 2, yeah, I'm up for it. I've got no idea where they go with this, by the way. I don't know what the storyline is. Just Statham is facing off against another great big megalodon. And I can't wait. Oi, Meg! Nah! You fucking manta! I'm gonna fuck you up! I can't wait. Okay, we're going back into land of Gonzo again. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I have discussed this before. This is from a couple of guys who are taking childhood favourites who are now out of copyright. Well, Winnie the Pooh is, but I think, and Tig is in it, but who's that donkey? Eeyore. They can't get the rights to Eeyore, so he's not in it. Just a gravestone with Eeyore R.I.P. written on it. And he's going on a fucking rampage. He's killing people, and he's doing it in a very... This is Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh. And Christopher Robin is at high school, and he comes back to the old estate, Green Acre, 100 Acre, whatever it's called, Ball Acre farm, and with his girlfriend, but other people are there, and they're getting offed with axes and chainsaws and fucking all sorts, getting dragged behind cars. It is an outrage. How dare they? It's sacrilege, it's blasphemy. And I can't wait. I honestly don't mind the idea of this. So I'm up for that. And on the same topic as that, we've got, now this might actually be out right now. We've got a Swissploitation movie. That's Swissploitation, called Mad Heidi. And if you haven't seen the trailer for that, please stop watching this right now and go and look at the trailer for it. Because, oh my God, it is the tale of that pigtailed Swiss Alpine Heidi with her milk, and I toned that down. Not even sure what the story was about, but it used to be a TV show, Heidi. I remember the intro to it. She's running down the hills and all that, like singing as they always do. And but this is different. This luxurious, idyllic Swiss mountainside has been taken over by a cheese tyrant and his army, and they're wiping people out. But Heidi, who's now a very sexy older girl, is martial arts trained. She's buff, and she has access to a lot of weaponry. Heads are blown apart, people are eviscerated. It is absolutely, what's the word again? Gonzo! It is indeed. And wow, it looks OTT, completely exuberant, wildly, unbelievable, but also very funny at the same time. And apparently the film's fan-funded, so, I was intrigued by films that get off the ground where the likes of fans have just seen a bit of test footage or heard the synopsis and start pledging money. Oh, go on. And then you get your name in the credits and all that, but you're taking a bit of a risk though, aren't you? A bit of a gamble. But I like the fact that that's a way of getting films off the ground. If studios, even independent ones, aren't, look, your idea is too way out there. We're not touching that with a barge pole. Just put it out there to the masses. You're going to find plenty of people that are going to, I'll come on board for that. And you get your movie made. And if you're still a talented filmmaker, that doesn't make any difference. It's still going to be a great movie. And this does look great. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Hobo with a Shotgun. And Rutger Hauer's one of his last movies, outrageous violence. But it was great. Sorry, I've got really squeaky boots on today. I don't know why that is. But so, Mad Heidi, looking forward to that. We have, at the time of this recording, the trailer hasn't dropped yet, but it's dropping today. So after I finish this, I bet you any money that trailer's already going to be online. We got a teaser for it yesterday, the day before this recording, and it's for Evil Dead Rise, aka Evil Dead. Hang on, we've had Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, which should have been called Army of Darkness, The Medieval Dead. Why didn't they do that? Then we had the remake, obviously, the reboot of Evil Dead. And we had Ash versus the Evil Dead, the big TV show. And this is an official sequel to the originals. But is it? Though? Sam Raimi's co-written the screenplay. I don't know if Bruce Campbell's making a chinny cameo in it. Maybe he is. I don't know. But it's about two estranged sisters in a high-rise apartment block who trying to repatriate. But at the same time as that, there's an upsurge in Deadites. So they've got to fight for survival against an onslaught of deadites. If you look at the cast, they're all 20s, tweenies, that sort of thing, and like, oh. So why have I got this in my most anticipated list? Because it's Evil Dead, and I love the Evil Dead. And there's a lot of people involved in the special effects. Now, there's gonna be CG, but you're gonna have practical effects as well. Because the Evil Dead movies thrive on in-camera practical effects. And I really don't think they're gonna eschew that. But there'll be CG as well. Like there was in the Fede Alvarez 2010 remake, which I went through a bit of a sort of strange odyssey with that. I saw it day one. I saw it at the premiere, in fact, and reviewed it for AV Forums, and I didn't like it at all. And for years, I didn't like it. And I've got the full uncut version as well. Before anyone goes, "Oh, that's a better movie." It's not that much better. It's just a little bit more gore in it. That's all it is. There's still plenty in the original version, but every single character was thoroughly unlikable. And yet, only about 2-3 years ago, maybe, I revisited it, and I thought, do you know what? I'm really getting into this. I'm getting into the fact that we couldn't stand the lead girl, but now she's fighting, she's a champion, but she's gone through hell, and she's going to go through more hell, and the abomination's rising up, and all this, and I actually got behind it and really, really enjoyed it more than I had done previously. I'm not going to say I loved it. I don't love the film, but I did have a big turnaround on it. So I'm up for this. It doesn't sound great from the synopsis. It doesn't. But Sam Raimi's co-written this. I love Sam Raimi. So, anyway, there you go. Evil Dead Rise. I'll watch the trailer and then I'll go, oh, it looks fucking awful. But what have we got next? Plane with Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler's a pilot of a plane. And the plane, they crash in a war-torn junta and guerrilla-filled jungle. And machete-wielding bastards are everywhere. And they capture his people. But he and a guy, it is the old chestnut. There's another passenger on board who, he comes on in chains, and you've got FBI or CIA or whoever putting him on board there. And obviously, Gerard Butler, our heroic captain, and this guy are going to have to work together. So what is it you did before? Did you work with Special Forces or something? Yeah, well, may have done. I haven't seen a trailer for a long time, because it came out sort of back end of summer last year, 2022, but the film's due out 2023. I love Gerard Butler, and I think this looks great. It's by the numbers. They make their getaway, him and this other guy, but Gerard Butler, the captain of the plane, is saying I'm not leaving my passengers behind. So they've got to mount a rescue mission, but it's cue lots of headshots and fisticuffs and beat-ups and smackdowns and machine gun fire and machetes. I'm on board that plane. Fucking awful title though, Plane. Makes it sound really boring. Like if it was spelled differently. Plane, just plane. But it still sounds naff. Plane. Then again, Jaws. When they first touted Jaws, Spielberg thought, what's it about? Is it about a dentist? He genuinely thought that. And Peter Benchley wrote the book and called it Jaws. Of course now, it's beyond ridicule. The Plane, I ain't too sure about that. But I'm looking forward to it though. Hang on. What else have we got here? Okay, it's another two-parter. Now, this I think is coming out straight to streaming, and it's in two parts. And I think we're getting both parts this year. So I think one part's coming out summertime, one part's coming out at the end of the year. And it is a lavish, huge, epic scale production of The Three Musketeers. What did you say before, Kilt-Man? Can't you leave anything alone? Well, Alexander Dumas' novel is huge, and it's been filmed many times. But it's one of those historical classics that can be redone again and again and again by bringing more of the backstory and more of the plotting. The BBC in the UK had a wonderful TV show which ran about 3 seasons called The Musketeers. Okay, it did a lot of things right, did a lot of things wrong. They wore a lot of leather, but which they would not have been too rich to have used that as armour and their fantastic natty attire. But the action was great. It was a Saturday evening, sort of 8 o'clock slot, so there's a bit more violence and a bit more naughtiness. Not too much though, but I loved it, and I do love the original novel, and I love the Richard Lester movies as well. Oliver Reed, Frank Finlay, Michael York, and Richard Chamberlain. I got them all. I absolutely adore the movies, and I'm looking forward to this. You've got Eva Green as Milady. It's absolutely pitch perfect casting, absolutely spot on. If anyone can nail the sexiness, the sassiness, the aristocracy, the skullduggery, the broken-heartedness, the tragedy of Milady, it's Eva Green. That is brilliant casting. Look at the trailers for it. My God, it looks big. There's a hint of comedy to it, a hint, but it's a lot more epic and grandiose, and probably a lot more serious. Vincent Cassel's in there as well, and a lot of other French people whose names I can't remember, but it looks great. So that's a big two-parter. So, way looking forward to that. What else have we got here? Now, here's a film which we're hoping it comes out this year. It should perhaps have come out last year. Then it had a release date of January this year. And now it looks like it's coming out December this year, or thereabouts. And it is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I did a big video on this before, well, a while ago. One of my favourite segments of Bram Stoker's Dracula novel. So we're back on Dracula. Renfield was there as well. So you're getting Renfield, and you could be getting this. Dracula has to get from Transylvania to England. He's on board a ship. But of course, it's a big, long voyage, and he's going to get hungry. So each night, he comes up from his coffin, his casket in the hold, with other caskets of experimental earth. It's his home turf, his home soil. He's got to rest and recline in that kind of stuff. He comes up and chomps on the crew, and in the end, only the mate is left, who ties himself, lashes himself to the wheel of the Demeter, and in a storm, a night destroyed by the most epic storm ever, it comes crashing into Whitby, and in the form of a wolf, a giant wolf, Dracula gets onto new land. And anyway, but in the book, it's told in sort of diary fashion, and it's never been filmed. It's been in films. It's been briefly hinted at in many of the adaptations of Dracula, not least Francis Ford Coppola's Keanu Reeves starring Bram Stoker's Dracula. And it had a little hint of it there, but this film is going to be entirely set on this voyage. So it's going to, we already know where it ends, but it's something that you haven't seen before. How they're going to fight back, how they're going to, dwindling numbers, 10 little Indians, and then one by one they're all taken out. So way looking forward to that. But it has been shunted around the release schedule. Obviously COVID screwed things around again for it, but then it just disappeared off release schedules, and there was talk that it might never come out. Well, excuse me, apparently it is. There is a UK release date. I'm sure it's December this year, so it's still a long way off, but anyway. I think that's it. That's actually it for all the things I'm looking forward to and anticipating. There probably are others, but there was plenty there, wasn't there? Let's have a look at the things I'm not looking forward to, but things that I might actually see. One of them especially, okay, right from the word go, David Gordon Green, go fuck yourself. After screwing up Halloween, you then turn your attentions to The Exorcist. And it's a sequel to William Friedkin's original Exorcist. You've even brought Ellen Burstyn back in. Ellen Burstyn played Regan, Linda Blair's mother in the original. You brought her back in. And this is set somewhere else. I actually don't know where it's set, but you look at the cast again. They're all 20-somethings. It's like, what are you doing with this? Where's it going? Who cares? David Gordon Green can't summon any tension or suspense or thrills or excitement. His shocks are advanced way in advance. And no, leave stuff alone. But I'll probably end up watching it just to take the piss out of it. And then go, you know what? I actually quite liked it. No, that ain't gonna happen. This might be a surprise to some people. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I don't care. I loved the first Guardians. I didn't like Guardians 2. And yet my hero of all time, King Kurt Russell, was in it. But I didn't like it. Even Sly Stallone was in it. But I still didn't like it. And I've had enough. Groot, fuck you. You know, oh God, Star-Lord, shut up. Chris Pratt, stop prattling around. You're annoying. No. So, on a similar note, we've got 2 DC ones. The Flash, Ezra Miller. The Flash, I hate. Ezra Miller, whoever you, they, he, she, whatever denomination you pick for yourself, you've got problems. You've got some severe problems. Really didn't think this film was going to come out. Well, it still might not. It depends, you know, if he behaves himself. Because if they start working around all this and got to cut him out, Michael Keaton returns as Batman in this movie. I love Michael Keaton as Batman. But I don't want to see him in a film with Ezra Miller about the Flash. No, I do not. Shazam. Oh God, what a ridiculous. It's big, but the superheroics. I know the first one was dead popular, but I did not like it. I didn't like it. Bored. The jokes did not land for me. Didn't like the main guy. So Shazam, whatever this is, Shazam 2, I don't know. No, not going to bother with it. Creed 3, I love Creed. I liked the fighting in Creed 2, but I've got zero interest in the continuation of this character. None whatsoever. I just don't care. I know Rocky went on forever, so, you know, got to give him a chance, I suppose. Oh, he did it, I can do it. Not interested. Expendables 4. I love the Expendables movies, but waited so long for this. I don't see it really happening, and I don't really see that it can be any good. Another bunch of crusty old bum scrogs, toting, you know, high velocity firepower, running around with some tin pot bloody war zone. I do love the first 3, but no, I'm not holding out any hopes for this. And that's, you know, I love Stallone, but and because apparently he's taking more of a back seat to it as well, from what I'd heard. So there's no point to this. Oh, and there's another sequel, Scream 6, Scream 5. I know. Oh, it was gory. You didn't see them twists coming, didn't you? I have a love-hate thing with Scream. The first 10 minutes of the first Scream are some of the best horror cinema that's ever been put on the big screen. I absolutely think it's fantastic. But the Scooby-Doo ending and the Scooby-Doo reveals in each of the other movies really does undermine things for me. And the endless, you know, genre references also great. But there are elements of Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4 which I actually genuinely liked. Bit of suspense there, some good set pieces. But Scream 5, no matter how bloody it got and savage, it still did not for me. And oh well, we know what the rumours are of Scream 6. The original killer is going to be back because he didn't actually die in the first movie. Oh God. And the poster for it, which is Ghostface, but it's like a New York subway rail network, and the different lines, different colours, people who've died in the past. But the one for him, the colour for that kind of signifies that he's still alive. And the whole layout becomes Ghostface. Oh God. Jason took Manhattan, so I suppose Ghostface can do it as well. But And that might be a sleeper hit, I don't know. That might be actually fantastic. But where I'm sitting right now, right here, right now, and looking ahead to Scream 6, I'm like, oh, could you be arsed? Cheers, y'all. But that's it. That's not many that I've dissed there without even seeing. I dissed ahead of time. And all the ones that like Cocaine Bear, John Wick Chapter 4, Renfield, Indiana Jones and the Dawn of Destiny, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, Dune Part 2, Wonka, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, The Meg 2, Evil Dead Rise, The Three Musketeers, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Mad Heidi, Plane. That's a lot there. There's one that my daughter added to this list as well. You can tell because it's in far neater handwriting. And it's Killers of the Flower Moon by Scorsese. Now, I don't know, she wants to see it, but I'm not sure if I'm not bothered about it. Because it is a weird thing for you. Oh, the greatest living filmmaker the world has ever known. Oh, yeah, I don't know. You know, I like Scorsese's brilliance. I do like a lot of his stuff, but I'm not an ardent fan. No, I've got to see this. You know, fucking hell, The Irishman. Jesus Christ. I started watching that about 3 years ago. I'm only halfway through it now. So I don't know. But I like the plot behind it. The Osage Nation, the oil wealthy Osage Nation, are being murdered in the 1920s, and the investigation into all this. So it does hold some interest for me, but I wouldn't have put it on my list. So she put it on my list. And she also put another one on, which is, I know this is actually out now, and it's Christian Bale, who she loves. So that's why she put it on there. And it's what's it called? The Pale Blue Eye. Where, I know I am interested in this, but it's already out. I just haven't seen it yet. Now this is, he's a police detective investigating a series of grisly murders, but his young protege is a cadet who will grow up to be Edgar Allan Poe, who wrote a lot of scary and sadistic horror stories and set the genre in motion. And it's a gothic whodunit, a gothic thriller, and I love those. So yeah, I will be watching that, and I will report back on that actually. But it's out now, so I will find the time for it and get back to you. So there you go. That's actually quite a lot of stuff. But the bad stuff: The Exorcist, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Flash, Shazam 2, Creed 3, Expendables 4, Scream 6. I mean, it reads like a bloody sports listing, you know, like the scores. But you can tell it's just sequels. Oh god! Like I know John Wick 4, Mission Impossible, another sequel. Aquaman's a sequel. Dune Part 2. I know. Meg 2. Indiana Jones. I know. But they're different. They're better. They're not just fucking soulless franchise entries just to make a buck. You know? Anyway, cheers y'all. I really am at the end of this. And we're at the end of the fabulous Trevor Jones score for The Last of The Mohicans, Michael Mann's classic 1992 epic, which I adore. I'm sure I've covered it. Sure I have. I think I have. And there you go, folks. Don't worry. Whiskey runs back down the bottle. And even days afterwards, you can still get a little slare. How sad's that? Folks, I happen to wish I'll be Kilt-Man. Please comment below and let me know what films you're looking forward to, what films you're really not looking forward to, what films you're hoping to absolutely despise and have fun with when we do proper big reviews of them and take the piss out of them good style. Let me know. And yeah, here's to 2023 being a more exciting movie year. There was plenty of good stuff last year, I know, but a lot of it still fell flat for me. But that rundown there that offers a lot of carnage, excitement, food for thought, wacky gonzo way out ideas. So let's see if they fulfill their promise. And I'm going to see you all laters with my chest bum. Oh, I can't do it now. Is that in there? I've lost the ability to chest bum eyes myself.